Now the latest from ITV News in the West Country with Ellie Louise Ringe and Jonty Messer.
Next tonight, schools in the region have welcomed plans to end the bubble system to tackle positive COVID tests. Under current guidelines, if a case is confirmed, all the pupils in that child's bubble must isolate for 10 days. That can mean dozens of pupils staying at home.
Now, though, the government says it may end in the autumn term, replacing the programme with daily tests for all students instead. Robert Murphy reports from a school in Hanham.
This school has been one of the least affected in our region, but the current system of COVID bubbles has still been a struggle. There have been few positive cases at Hanham Woods Academy, but when they've appeared, it's meant dozens of pupils have been sent home at once.
Been off for the past 10 days, so it's been difficult that because we've got mocks coming up and stuff.
Well, it's been quite annoying because one time you're in school and then you're at home. It's inconsistent schedule and it can affect your education.
Yeah, recently some people had to be sent home for a week because somebody had a positive COVID test and we had to do learning from home the whole time.
What's that like for you?
It's tricky because getting a PowerPoint sent home isn't the same as a teacher at the front of the classroom going through it.
It's definitely tricky because especially if we didn't have our books with us, so we didn't know like the recent notes we've been doing.
The measures were introduced to stop whole year groups being sent home when a positive case was found. Just the children in the patient's bubble would have to isolate instead. But it's still a tricky thing to organise.
In the last term we've had I think 4 cases, which is not huge compared to some other schools, and it's usually around about 40 to 45 students in each of those cases that end up having to isolate.
That's still 160 pupils. Sounds like a big deal to me.
It is a big deal across the entire academy, but not as many as if we were having to send whole year groups home to isolate.
The senior principal at Hanham Woods welcomes plans to scrap the bubbles in the autumn term in favour of daily testing.
I think having the students come on site every morning for a lateral flow test would enable us to have more students on site every day, therefore improving their academic outcomes, but also their mental health and well-being. There is obviously the logistics surrounding that and how we coordinate that will be a challenge for each individual school, but of course also it allows parents to go back to work as well, so it has an impact on society as a whole.
So better to do that than the bubble system that we have at the moment?
I believe that would be a big improvement, yes.
In these days of pandemic, the autumn is still a long way away. Who knows what R rates and hospital levels will be then? But bursting the bubbles in favour of daily testing would be a sign that schools are at least getting back to normal. Robert Murphy, ITV News.